back. If you're here just for the car, then this isn't the episode for you guys. This is all going to be on the TMG air compressor. This is the 40-gallon one. They make a 30 one that I'm aware of, but this is strictly just going to be on this baby. Now that we've actually reached 50 hours on this and we have to do a service. So come with me and let's do a service on it. So one of the things that I did from the beginning was put on the electrical cable to run the starter so I can start it using a battery. Now I use my John Deere lawnmower battery to start this thing to make my life easier. This way I can crank it and get it started, but it's not strong enough to technically start this air compressor. This is just what I have around me. This is what's going to be what I use. On this air compressor, we have to shut our valves here. There's a valve here on the end, and then there's a valve on the bottom that you can see some moisture has been dripping out of. So we seal that up. Once it's sealed up, there's this valve right here, or circuit. You're supposed to make sure that it's pulled out. And I'll do a quick little close-up video here in the corner. You'll see it, hopefully, if I remember to actually do it. We're going to start the air compressor. Once it's running, you flick this down to start charging it. We're just going to heat it up to heat the oil so we can drain the oil out of this thing and do a service on it. So here we go. I'm actually going to pull start this thing if I can get it to work so you guys can see how hard it is to pull start. So choke on, key on to on. If not, it will not start. And once it's running, put this down. So this air compressor takes approximately 4 minutes and 20 seconds to get to maximum pressure build, which is quite a long time. But the benefit of this has such a big air reservoir tank underneath it that you very rarely run out of air unless you forget to put gas into it. That's one nice thing I like about this air compressor is I can get about 3 to 4 hours of work on about approximately 2 liters of fuel, which is really great. So I'm going to go over the pros and the cons of this air compressor. So the positive side of this air compressor is it runs like a champ. It works very well. It stays constantly at 100 psi. I've never had any issues unless you run out of gas. The fuel tank on it is approximately 4 liters, so I get approximately 3.5 to 4 hours. So the burn rate's about a liter an hour if you're taking that in consideration. For me in my garage, I don't have the wiring capability to have a big air compressor, so I have to kind of use what I can get my hands on, and this is the best solution. Some of the negative side of the fence of this air compressor is it is very, very loud. It's a loud unit. So if you're using this thing in town, I don't think I'd recommend it unless you want to really annoy all your neighbors. You do you. The other negative side I have of this thing is to move it around, I ended up putting dollies underneath it to move it around the garage, which is works great for my situation, but it also has a lot of vibration and is constantly vibrating, each to their own. This thing's designed to be mounted on the back of a truck and constantly mounted down for a mobile mechanic, but this worked great for my practice. Otherwise than that, I don't really have any big quarrels with this air compressor, rather than it is extremely hard to physically start the air compressor by the pull cord. And the manual doesn't really specify how much big of a battery you're supposed to hook the electrical system to start this air compressor. But I highly recommend a truck battery with higher cold cranking amps than a lawnmower. Otherwise than that, 100% like this air compressor. Would I buy another one? Yes, I'd buy another one. Would I buy the 40 gallon, or would I go down to the 30? I don't know. I bought the 40 gallon because I wanted to make sure I have more than enough air on this air compressor to do all of my and jobs on the car, just in case I have to use this in real life farming, as I am a full-time farmer. The one more negative thing that I just want to note, since I'm just watching the video and me working, is to change oil is royally a pain in the butt. I would put what longer oil dump spigots on it, but otherwise than that, it's just something you got to get used to, and you just have to wipe up the mess after the fact.